There are some people you see on screen in the dramas you watch every night that just feel present. Like they are part of your routine, part of your week, and when they are suddenly gone, the world feels a little quieter. I woke up to the news about Ece İrtem today, and I honestly couldn't believe it. I read it twice, three times, just to make sure I was not misunderstanding something. I am still trying to process it if I am being honest with you. Today I don't just want to give you headlines. I want to talk about the person behind the roles, the journey she was on, the people who loved her, and why this loss feels so heavy for so many of us, even people who never met her. It is easy to just see the celebrity, right? The face on the poster, the character in the drama. But when you look past the cameras, EJ was just 35. That's an age where you are just hitting your stride, where you feel like you have all the time in the world ahead of you. She was born in Sivas, a city in central Turkey, back in June of 1991, and her story really starts there. Long before any of us knew her name, to us she was from one love. But the people who actually knew her, her parents, Ural and Nuriye, her close friends from university, she was just EJ, a daughter, a friend who showed up for people, someone who had just celebrated turning 35 with the people she loved most. And then one single day later, everything changed. I don't think there's a way to say that doesn't break your heart a little. Here's the part I think people don't talk about enough. Her journey was not handed to her before she was ever an actress. EJ was training as an opera singer. She studied vocal performance at Yashar University and she actually graduated third in her class. Yes, third. In opera, that's not a small thing. That makes years of discipline, of showing up early, of pushing through every single day when no one's watching. But somewhere along the way, acting pulled her harder than stage ever did. So she moved to Istanbul and she went back to being a student again, training in the theater at the Sadri Cultural Center, learning the craft from the ground up. The same way thousands of actors before her had no shortcuts. No connections handed down, just classes, auditions, and small roles. And then she just started working quietly, steadily, a role in Kachak Gilin Miller, then Yani Galin, then Kartan Kali, then Abdul Hamid, a massive historical production, then Zumurdunka, the Krulushishman, a show with millions of fans watching in dozens of countries around the world, then Yasa Gilma, then Mahkum, year after year, show after show, most of them roles you didn't recognize the second you saw them, but never the lead, never the headline, never the poster. Think about that for a second, almost a decade of being the familiar face, whose name people couldn't always place. And then came Kuzujung Sherbetele, one love and the role of his career. That was a role that finally made the world notice what the people who followed her career already knew. She had something real. It only took her over a decade of quiet and glamorous work to get there. And honestly, that story worth telling on its own, completely separate from how it ended. I know a lot of you have been reaching out already, sharing how much her work meant to you, even during your own tough times. It just goes to show how she really touched people's lives without even realizing it. If you have a favorite scene of hers or a memory you want to share, please take a moment to comment below. Let's make this a place of kindness in her memory. I will be reading every single one. Her funeral was held in Kuchudas on Turkey's Aegean coast at the Hammal Mosque, and she was laid to rest at the Yeniko Cemetery, close to where she grew up. And from everything coming out of that day, it was devastating to watch her parents Ural and Nuria could barely stand through the ceremony. Friends from university said she had no health problems at all, that she was full of life. Just weeks before, someone who lit up every room she walked into, one actor who knew her, Gurkhan Ogen, said he did message her about work just 3 days before she passed and had seen her in person about a week before that. He said she seemed completely fine, happy, even full of plans for what then was next. Across the industry, the tributes poured in fast. Kavanch Talutu posted that she was not just a colleague to him, she was a friend, and that the industry had lost one of its biggest stars. Dimit Ozmir and Jamil Yilmaz shared their own messages of grief, and several production companies announced they were pausing filming out of respect. But honestly, the moment that stayed with me most was from someone named Mujde Usman, a former co-star who admitted she actually never met EJ in person, not once. And she still wrote that everything she ever heard about her was full of warmth, that she was spoken of with love by everyone who knew her, and that the loss of someone like that hits even harder somehow. Then somehow personally, that's the kind of impression EJ left behind, even on people she never got the chance to sit across a table with. There was also a harder moment that day. Reports say that as the family said their final goodbyes, some bystanders at the funeral were more focused on filming, photographing the moment than respecting the family's grief. Phones held up over the crowd instead of heads bowed. It led singer Dennis Ziki to publicly speak out, reminding everyone that grief deserves privacy and that losing someone famous never gives anyone the right to film a family's worst day. I think that's worth sitting with for a second too, because however we grieve someone publicly, including a video like this one, it should come from a place of respect, never spectacle. As for what actually happened, the early reports point to a sudden heart attack just a day after her 35th birthday. But I want to upfront with you because I think you deserve that. The official cause is still being confirmed through an autopsy, and the full investigation has not concluded yet. So some details may still change as more comes out. But even with what we know right now, it just reminds you, does it not it, how precious and completely unpredictable everything is. Someone can be celebrating their birthday with the people they love, full of plans, full of life, and a single day later gone. She was supposed to have so many more scenes to film, so many more stories to tell. It's devastating not just because she was a talented actress, but because the world lost a genuinely bright, creative spirit far too soon. Rest in peace, CJ. We will keep watching your work and we will remember you just the way the people who actually knew you describe you. Full of life, full of warmth, and incredible at what you did. Thank you for listening, friends, and for sitting through this with me. It mattered to me that we share this together.